Cool. All right, we'll go ahead and get started on the pre-test, and then we can start. Don't overthink it.
I'm just playing random.
That's okay.
I was like,
That's okay. We are going to talk about random. All right, we all done?
Yep.
Okay. Well, as you can see, I chose living a healthy lifestyle. And the first thing I'd like, well, my name's David, just both of you guys know that. And there's three components to living a healthy lifestyle that I want to talk about. The first one is eating healthy and being active. It's important to get physical or regular physical exercise or just moving about, getting enough sleep, and I also believe having fun and de-stressing is an important component to living a healthy lifestyle as well. The first thing I like to do is have a group discussion about eating habits, dietary habits, exercise habits, what have you. Have either of you seen this movie, Super Size Me?
Yep.
Yes.
I have not, actually, but I thought it was relevant because he eats fast food for like, what, a month at McDonald's, and I've gotten a little taste of that because on Saturday or Friday our fridge went out, and Sears cannot come out until this coming Thursday to either repair it or replace it, so I've been eating out for the past few days and it has gotten very old. It has sucked. So, the first talking point I have for you guys, or us, how often do you guys eat fast food and where's your favorite place to go?
Probably once a week, and I like to go to Chick-fil-A, but I always get
Chick-fil-A.
their salad there.
I love Chick-fil-A. My favorite place is Chipotle.
Same.
Chipotle. What do you get?
The same thing every time.
Yeah.
Yep. Brown rice, black beans, chicken, lettuce, mild and corn salsa.
I get brown rice, steak, black beans, corn, tomato, red salsa, sour cream cheese, and lettuce every time. It is my favorite. Do your eating habits change when you go out to eat versus eating at home? 'Cause I know mine do. Like, do you think you eat healthier at home or eat healthier when you go out?
Oh, I think I eat healthier at home.
Yeah,
I do too.
for sure. More health conscious, yeah, we talked about that. One interesting thing that I thought, why, I sort of believe that America's more prone to obesity than other countries in the world. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
What would you say contributes to that? Like, what do we have that's so different over here, or like, just our way of life? What makes it so different than?
I think a lot of people just eat convenience foods, which aren't very good for you, and
Because
they
we're so
eat
busy.
a lot of them.
Because we're so busy all the time, or?
I don't think a lot of people are busy. I think I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know how to cook anymore.
That's
It's
a good
more
point.
convenient to eat a pack of fruit snacks than it is to clean an apple and slice it and eat an apple.
That's true.
That's true, but I do think it has to do with the pace as well. As far as like businesses not closing down in the middle of the day or having like longer hours as compared to like European countries
That's true.
where they have time to like go home and sit down and have a meal in the middle of the day and actually enjoy the food as a process and way to nourish themselves, as opposed to like, I have to eat something, I'm so hungry,
Yeah.
Right.
shove it in and go to the next thing.
Yeah. I actually studied abroad in Mexico a few years ago, and I went to a city called Puebla, and it was really weird to see everybody, like all the stores shut down in the middle of the day. Everybody went home, and like, you know how dinner is to us? Well, that's like lunch is the big thing down there. Like everybody goes home, the school lets out again, and everybody goes home, they have a meal together, and then siesta or whatever, and then they go back. They don't get home till like 5 or 6 anyway, but like, I just thought that was very interesting to see. Plus, they say you should eat like a king for breakfast, like a duke for lunch, and then like a peasant for dinner, right? Or something like that. I guess they're eating like a king at lunch,
At lunch,
but
right.
I don't know. I try not to eat too much right before bed. Have you ever eaten a meal just because everybody else was? Like, hey, we're gonna go out to this restaurant, you guys would come or whatever.
Yes.
Been in that situation before?
Of course.
Yeah. I always hate that. Common causes of joint pain. So one of the components of this, I want to teach you guys, I mean, you're healthcare professionals already, but there are, what am I trying to say? I want to teach the healthy habits to get into today so we can reap the benefits of them tomorrow. So like, you know what I mean? So I actually found an interesting article that said you should avoid a lot of these foods because they contribute to joint pain. Some more than others, but I just didn't know that. I think we'll skip that one for now. And this is a slide of all my favorite foods. Flaming Hot Cheetos, M&M. I should definitely eat a lot less of pizza rolls because that's my all-time favorite food. All time, I was very upset when our fridge went out because I lost a lot of pizza rolls that day. God. That and Uncrustables, those are my favorite. Have you guys ever had Uncrustables before? The little peanut butter and jelly sandwiches down there?
You eat like my 8th grader.
I eat those like demi cakes. Those are so good. Like that and a glass of milk, and those are so good. But yeah, I think you're right when you said that people really don't know how to cook anymore. I think we're eating a lot less like whole foods and stuff like that. And we're eating more processed things that have a lot of preservatives in them. And we should eat more whole foods. Do you guys agree?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's not only inconvenient to have to like cook it, but then you actually have to go to the grocery and buy fresh things that can only stay so long in your fridge, as opposed to things that can live on your shelf or in your freezer.
Yeah.
And you can just go to the grocery once a month and not deal with it again.
Like canned foods, bags of chips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
My raspberries go bad in like 5 days or something in the fridge. So.
Yeah. Like my favorite fruit is strawberries, but that's not gonna stay good as long as like a bag of potato chips or my Uncrustables in the freezer, you know, or my pizza rolls in the freezer. So yeah, that's a good point. Plus, you know, when you eat more whole foods like that, you have to, like you said, take the time to prepare it, and then there's also cleanup afterwards. There's more dishes to do, and I hate doing dishes. Not as much as laundry though. Laundry's horrible. Well, I don't mind it. I just hate folding it because there's no machine that folds it. So. What do you guys think you should eat more or less of in your diets? I mean, you
More
both work
fruits and
in
vegetables, less junk.
this time. Sometimes when I go to work, I will pack like a banana or an apple in my lunchbox because I know I'll get hungry, and if I get hungry enough, I will eat it. So I try to pack more of those. Like if I'm at home, you know, it's not gonna matter as much because I have options, but like if I take food with me, if I know I'm going to be out of the house for a longer period of time, then I will pack like a healthier option because I know I will get hungry enough to eat it. So that's one of the tricks I've kind of incorporated. So, all right, so we talked about food. There's also exercise. Do you guys exercise regularly or semi-regularly or?
It's been tough this semester, but
It's been
Not
tough.
anymore.
Yeah.
I exercise at work, running up and down the halls.
I can imagine that. I do a lot of walking in my job. I actually I'm a shoe salesman over at Dillard's, so I do a lot of walking. I used to work over at the Y. I had a free membership, and that was pretty nice to have like a free gym membership with your job. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool. And that also kind of forced me into the workout routine because, you know, I could just work out either before or after my shift. But then once I got a retail job, it's like, well, buy my gym membership. So I got a membership over at, what's that called? Planet Fitness? Yeah, the one that's open 24/7. And it's only like, what, 10, 12 bucks a month or something like that, which is why I got it, because it's so cheap and you can go whenever you want. But this semester has really put a damper on that, actually. I've not been able to go in a while. So, what would you guys say are some long-term benefits of regular, consistent exercise? And by regular, I mean probably 3 times a week for 30 minutes.
You're warding off diseases like heart disease and diabetes and
And that goes hand in hand with eating well, too.
improves your mood,
Mm-hmm.
gives you more energy.
De-stress.
Those endorphins.
Yeah. Do you guys ever run on a treadmill or gone for like a long jog or run? Experienced that runner's high? It's been a while for me, but I've been there too. Why? We're gonna skip that question because that's dumb. Sure, why is that? And then we kind of talked about, do we have time to exercise? I mean, I'm in school, well, all my classes are online this semester, but I also work 5 days a week. And then that leaves me 2 days a week to do homework. And one of those days is Mondays, so I've really got to cram because everything's due that night. So I really don't have a whole lot of time to exercise, unfortunately. Are you guys like in a similar position, or?
I feel that way, but if I really wanted to, I probably could force it in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it is difficult and it's easier to just not.
I think it's the struggle of working night shift. Like, you don't realize the toll it takes on you, and when you go home and you sleep and you wake up, like, you really don't feel like going for a walk even. For me, I struggle with time though too, with school and work
Yes.
and kids and running a household. There's, unless I got up at 4 a.m., like, who's doing that?
Yeah. Who's doing that, yeah. So you both work in a hospital, is that
Mhm.
right? Okay. And that's, I imagine you get all kinds of crazy shifts.
I normally work, I go in at 6 and I get off at 7 in the morning.
Wow, that is a long day.
So it's long, so.
That is a very long day.
When you go home and you sleep 3 hours after
Yeah.
staying up 25 straight hours, then you're not gonna exercise. You're just getting through your day.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's awful. Do you get some crazy shifts too?
Yeah, I always work 7 to 7:30, so 7 at night to 7:30 in the morning.
Gosh.
But I also live an hour away from work, so then
Oh,
that's in
really?
there too, yeah.
That's one heck of a commute.
Really 35 to 40 minutes, but the traffic always ends up,
Oh.
at least an hour,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it doesn't leave you a lot of time to exercise then. And even if you did have some time, it's the last thing you want to do because you've been on your feet
Right.
all day. Yeah. That is a struggle. The last component I want to talk about is drinking water. And I feel like not everybody drinks enough water as they should. You should actually drink at least half your body's weight in water in ounces every single day, which I try to do, but when you look at, so I weigh like 180 pounds, so I gotta drink at least 90 ounces of water a day, which is between like 11 or 12 cups or something like that, I think. But, see, 12 times 8 is nice, yeah. Something like that, but at least 90 ounces. So, it's tough because you're not thirsty all the time. Do you guys drink water consistently like that, or? I mean, you gotta stay up, so you gotta drink caffeinated drinks, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Does coffee
at the
count?
least,
Right.
coffee.
But you can't always get to anything to drink if you're up for
Right.
hours on end, and then you finally get to sit down and drink one drink and back up again, so.
Do you guys do like a lot of running around at your job?
Oh, yeah. By the end of my shift, I have over 10,000 steps every single night.
Wow. Wow.
Just no
So
sitting
you-
around.
Does it leave you thirsty at all?
Yeah, I mean, have a water bottle that I take and I constantly fill it up when I'm at work, so I have no idea how much I'm getting because I'm drinking a ton. But then you don't have time to go to the bathroom, so you gotta watch how much you're drinking.
Yeah. Well, and then a couple fast facts. You probably know your body's 70% water, your brain is 90% water. And then here's just some benefits: increases energy, relieves fatigue, promotes weight loss, flushes out toxins, yada yada yada. What's nice is it saves you money too. Water is pretty much free anywhere you go. So you said coffee is like your normal drink?
Well, I mean, I don't drink that much just because if I drink too much, my eyes are gonna twitch or.
Yeah.
So, but yes, when I work in the middle of the night, I probably have 1 or 2 cups of coffee to stay awake. Cause like I said, like today I got up at 5 a.m. and I won't go to bed until I get home at, by like 8 tomorrow, so
Yeah.
that's a long day.
That is a very long day. All right. The next component is sleep, and I have. Why did that not go on? Oh, of course. Is that gonna work? I have a 10-minute video, which is super cool. Let me shut this door. Make sure the volume is up all the way through.
Amiga returned.
Oh, cool. Let's go over. I don't think I can turn up any louder than that. Make sure is that loud enough for you guys?
There's such a complicated and demanding behaviour of
Okay.
sleep. So I'm less convinced by the energy conservation idea. But the third idea I'm quite attracted to, which is brain processing and memory consolidation. What we know is that if after you try to learn a task and you sleep-deprived individuals, the ability to learn that task is smashed. It's really hugely attenuated. So sleep and memory consolidation is also very important. However, it's not just the laying down of memory and recording. What's turned out to be really exciting is that our ability to come up with novel solutions to complex problems is hugely enhanced by a night of sleep. In fact, it's been estimated to give us a 3-fold advantage. Sleeping at night enhances our creativity. And what seems to be going on is that in the brain, those neural connections that are important, those synaptic connections that are important, are linked and strengthened, while those that are less important tend to sort of fade away and be less important. Okay, so we've had 3 explanations for why we might sleep. And I think the important thing to realise is that the details will vary, and it's probably we sleep for multiple different reasons. But sleep is not an indulgence. It's not some sort of thing that we can take on board rather casually. I think sleep was once likened to an upgrade from economy to business class, the equivalent of. It's not even an upgrade from economy to first class. The critical thing to realise is that if you don't sleep, you don't fly. Essentially, you never get there. And what's extraordinary about much of our society these days is that we are desperately sleep deprived. So let's now look at sleep deprivation. Huge sectors of society are sleep deprived, and let's look at our sleepometer. So in the 1950s, good data suggests that most of us were getting around about 8 hours of sleep a night. Nowadays, we sleep 1.5 to 2 hours less every night. So we're in the sort of 6.5 hours every night league. For teenagers, it's worse, much worse. They need 9 hours for full brain performance, and many of them on a school night are only getting 5 hours of sleep. It's simply not enough. If we think about other sectors of society, the aged. If you are aged, then your ability to sleep in a single block is somewhat disrupted, and many sleep, again, less than 5 hours a night. Shift work is extraordinary. Perhaps 20% of the working population, and the body clock does not shift with the demands of working at night. It's locked onto the same light dark cycle that the rest of us. So when the poor old shift worker is going home to try and sleep during the day, desperately tired, the body clock is saying, wake up, this is the time to be awake. So the quality of sleep that you get as a night shift worker is usually very poor, again in that sort of 5-hour region. And then of course, tens of millions of people suffer from jet lag. So who here has jet lag? Well, my goodness gracious. Well, thank you very much indeed for not falling asleep, because that's what your brain is craving. One of the things that the brain does is indulge in microsleeps, this involuntary falling asleep, and you have essentially no control over it. Now, microsleeps can be sort of somewhat embarrassing, but they can also be deadly. It's been estimated that 31% of drivers will fall asleep at the wheel at least once in their life. And in the US, the statistics are pretty good. 100,000 accidents on the freeway have been associated with tiredness, loss of vigilance, and falling asleep. 100,000 a year, it's extraordinary. At another level of terror, we dip into the tragic accidents at Chernobyl and indeed the Space Shuttle Challenger, which was so tragically lost. And in the investigations that followed those disasters, poor judgment as a result of extended shift work and loss of vigilance and tiredness was attributed to a big chunk of those disasters. So, when you're tired and you lack sleep, you have poor memory, you have poor creativity, you have increased impulsiveness, and you have overall poor judgment. But my friends, it's so much worse than that. If you are a tired brain, the brain is craving things to wake it up. So drugs, stimulants, caffeine represents the stimulant of choice across much of the Western world. Much of the day is fueled by caffeine, and if you're a really naughty, tired brain, nicotine. And of course, you're fueling the waking state with these stimulants, and then of course it gets to 11 o'clock at night, and the brain says to itself, well actually, I need to be asleep fairly shortly. What do we do about that while I'm feeling completely wired? Well, of course, you then resort to alcohol. Now, alcohol, short term, once or twice, to use to mildly sedate you, can be very useful. It can actually ease the sleep transition. But what you must be so aware of is that alcohol doesn't provide sleep, a biological mimic for sleep, it sedates you. So it actually harms some of those neural processing that's going on during memory consolidation and memory recall. So it's a short-term acute measure, but for goodness sake, don't become addicted to alcohol as a way of getting to sleep every night. Another connection between loss of sleep is weight gain. If you sleep around about 5 hours or less every night, then you have a 50% likelihood of being obese. What's the connection here? Well, sleep loss seems to give rise to the release of the hormone ghrelin, the hunger hormone. Ghrelin is released, it gets the brain says, I need carbohydrates. And what it does is seek out carbohydrates, and particularly sugars. So there's our link between tiredness and the metabolic predisposition for weight gain. Stress. Tired people are massively stressed. And one of the things of stress, of course, is loss of memory, which is what I sort of just then had a little lapse of. But stress is so much more. So if you're acutely stressed, not a great problem, but it's sustained stress associated with sleep loss that's the problem. So sustained stress leads to suppressed immunity, and so tired people tend to have higher rates of overall infection, and there's some very good studies showing that shift workers, for example, have higher rates of cancer. Increased levels of stress throw glucose into the circulation. Glucose becomes a dominant part of the vasculature and essentially you become glucose intolerant, therefore diabetes too. Stress increases cardiovascular disease as a result of raising blood pressure. So there's a whole raft of things associated with sleep loss that are more than just a mildly impaired brain, which is where I think most people think that sleep loss resides. So at this point in the talk, this is a nice time to think, well, do you think on the whole I'm getting enough sleep? So quick show of hands. Who feels that they're getting enough sleep here? Oh, well, that's pretty impressive. Good. We'll talk more about that later, about what your tips. So most of us, of course, ask the question, well, how do I know whether I'm getting enough sleep? Well, it's not rocket science. If you need an alarm clock to get you out of bed in the morning, if you are taking a long time to get up, if you need lots of stimulants, if you're grumpy, if you're irritable, if you're told by your work colleagues that you're looking tired and irritable, chances are you are sleep deprived. Listen to them. Listen to yourself. What do you do? Well, and this is slightly offensive, sleep for dummies. Make your bedroom a haven for sleep. The first critical thing is make it as dark as you possibly can, and also make it slightly cool. Very important. Actually, reduce the amount of light exposure at least half an hour before you go to bed. Light increases levels of alertness and will delay sleep. What's the last thing that most of us do before we go to bed? We stand in a massively lit bathroom with the mirror cleaning our teeth. It's the worst thing we could possibly do before we go to sleep. Turn off those mobile phones, turn off those computers, turn off all of those things that are also going to excite the brain. Try not to drink caffeine too late in the day, ideally not after lunch. Now, we said about reducing light exposure before you go to bed, but light exposure in the morning is very good at setting the biological clock to the light-dark cycle, so seek out morning light. Basically, listen to yourself. Wind down. Do those sorts of things that you know are going to ease you off into the honey heavy dew of slumber. Okay, that's some facts. What about some myths? Teenagers are lazy. No, poor things. They have a biological predisposition to go to bed late and get up late, so give them a break. We need 8 hours of sleep a night. That's an average. Some people need more, some people need less. And what you need to do is listen to your body. Do you need that much, or do you need more? That's simple as that. Old people need less sleep. Not true. The sleep demands of the aged do not go down. Essentially, sleep fragments and becomes less robust, but sleep requirements do not go down. And the fourth myth is early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, that's wrong at so many different levels. There is no evidence that getting up early and going to bed early gives you more wealth at all. There's no difference in socioeconomic status. In my experience, the only difference between morning people and evening people is that those people that get up in the morning early are just horribly smug. Okay, so for the last part, the last few minutes, what I want to do is change gears and talk about some really new breaking areas of neuroscience, which is the association between mental health, mental illness, and sleep disruption. We've known for 130 years that in severe mental illness, there is always sleep disruption. But it's been largely ignored. In the 1970s, when people started to think about this again, they said, yes, well, of course you have sleep disruption in schizophrenia, because there are antipsychotics. It's the antipsychotics causing the sleep problems, ignoring the fact that for 100 years previously, sleep disruption had been reported before antipsychotics. So what's going on? Lots of groups, several groups, are studying conditions like depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar, and what's going on in terms of sleep disruption. We have a big study published last year on schizophrenia, and the data were quite extraordinary. In those individuals with schizophrenia, much of the time they were awake during the night phase, and then they were asleep during the day. Other groups showed no 24-hour patterns whatsoever. Their sleep was absolutely smashed, and some had no ability to regulate their sleep by the light-dark cycle. They were getting up later and later and later and later each night. It was smashed. So what's going on? And the really exciting news is that mental illness and sleep are not simply associated, but they are physically linked within the brain. The neural networks that predispose you to normal sleep give you normal sleep, and those that give you normal mental health are overlapping.
All right, so that's the main gist of that I wanted to show you, which I thought was a pretty cool video. And I know you guys are really tired, so thank you for not falling asleep. Where's my... oh, that's a problem. Okay. I'm actually going to pause that camera really quick because I just realized. Alright, so we're back at. Alright. So, sleep is very important. It's a very important part of our health, and I think a lot of us don't get enough of it and take it for granted, and we should not ignore it like we have been. So in the video he talked about sleep causing a whole lot of problems, such as weight gain, for one. You can cause mood disorders, a bunch of kinds of stuff. But if you do get sleep, it has some benefits too, like improving your mood, improving your concentration, and your mind feels refreshed. Does anybody know why it refreshes your mind? Like, you could lay there in bed for 8 hours, and your muscles will relax and go back to normal, but your brain also feels refreshed. So, when you go to sleep, your brain doesn't shut down, and in fact, a lot of parts of the brain become more active at night. And while you're asleep, your brain actually does something really important. That's an important part of your health. Which is, we'll get to that. Do you guys know what the lymphatic system is in the body? Yeah? What does that do?
Removes toxins so that can be broke down and
Yeah.
you're
There's a lot of waste from the organs, yeah, absolutely. So there I've got a diagram of the lymphatic system, and is there anything you notice about it that's interesting?
It doesn't go to the brain.
It doesn't go to the brain, perfect. So the brain, like all other organs, has to use nutrients for energy, and it has to dispose of the waste accordingly. So it has a really interesting way of doing that. So it is awake and active from the moment you're born until the second of your death. And in fact, some areas are more active when you're asleep than when you're awake. Some areas involving sleep include the hypothalamus, the lateral hypothalamus, the ventrolateral preoptic nuclei, and all of these combine to send projections down to the brainstem, and the brainstem projects neurotransmitters forward to the brain, and it bathes the cortex, which essentially provides us with our consciousness. So your body creates what's called lymphatic fluid, and it moves down from your blood vessels to surround the cells in your body's tissues. The fluid carries oxygen, nutrients, all the things that your cells need. And it also delivers white blood cells for your immune system. The lymphatic fluid also gathers waste byproducts and other unwanted substances like bacteria and viruses, for example. And the system of lymphatic vessels then gathers the lymphatic fluid for removal from your body's tissues and returns it into the circulation once it's been cleaned. That was a lot of running. I was right down to the computer lab and back. The lymphatic vessels then drain through the lymph nodes, which operate like tiny little filters, and they remove the unwanted substances. And the lymph nodes also contain immune cells to destroy invading viruses and bacteria. However, this process does not work in the brain, and there's no room for lymphatic vessels in the brain because your skull is, it's there to protect it. So instead, the brain is surrounded by a pool of cerebrospinal fluid, and waste from the brain are then moved outward from the brain by the CSF, which is being pumped through all the crevices, and it kind of like filters through the brain. Waste, along with cerebrospinal fluid, is then removed by the blood vessels, and the main point of this whole process, that's how it gets, waste out of the brain. So when your mind is, like, at the end of the day, you're just, like, exhausted, like, mentally, a lot of that's due to buildup of, like, waste being produced by the brain from it being used all day. And that's how it gets removed, is from all the cerebrospinal fluid, flushing it out, and then it drains through the blood vessels. But the main point of that is that process only happens when you're asleep. More importantly, it only happens when you're in deep REM sleep. So that's why if you get, like 2 or 3 hours a night, or you sleep for a couple hours, you get up, and then you go back to sleep again, that's why you're not going to feel as refreshed, because you're not getting into that deep sleep long enough to actually flush all those toxins and things like that out of the brain. The brain cannot do that while it's conscious, and the buildup of waste throughout the day may help explain why your mind feels exhausted along with your body. This may also help to explain why you feel better after long periods of sleep, such as a full 8 hours as opposed to only a few, and then taking a nap during the day. So, some tips to get a better night's rest. Come in.
Yeah, we're back.
So some tips to get a better night's rest. You want to sleep in a cool and dark room. You don't want to drink caffeine after lunch. And before bed, you kind of want to, dim the lights, at least, for about a 30-minute period, so you can get a better night's rest. So some of the effects of sleep deprivation include high blood pressure, heart attacks, stroke, obesity, and these are all long-term effects. This is, if you are consistently sleep deprived, then things like this can happen, and that's not good for your health. So yeah, we kind of clean after lunch, dim your lights 30 minutes before bed, and you want to sleep in a cool and dark room. So the last component I want to talk about for living a healthy lifestyle is stress, because it's something all of us are having to deal with every single day from a variety of things. Now, most of us know, if we're stressed, most of us know if we're already stressed, but some cases can be mild and some cases can be subtle, but some cases of stress are pretty severe, and these can oftentimes be just as bad, if not worse, than... I need to read directly off this paper. Subtle stress cases are what convince you to have that smoking break or one too many drinks, and all of these effects can lead to bigger problems. High blood pressure from a mild case of stress can lead to, prolonged high blood pressure can lead to strokes and heart attacks and things like that. Not getting enough sleep, we already said, can cause a number of things like increased likelihood for obesity, high blood pressure, depression, mood disorders. So properly managing stress is the key to helping live a healthy lifestyle. Every once in a while you have to cut loose and have some fun, and if you have some stress symptoms, taking steps to manage your stress can have numerous health benefits. It's not just about avoiding ways to cope with stress to avoid health risks, but doing things you enjoy can actually help you live longer. A growing body of scientific research shows that doing something that interests you offers big health benefits in your late 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. Just if you do something
Amen.
if you like to, if you want to do something, have fun. Do something fun every single day of your life. Because that's going to help improve your stress and your mood. So, do we have any SpongeBob fans in the room?
I was.
You were?
Yeah, my alarm clock sang that song.
Nice.
It was super
Well,
annoying. My poor parents.
in that case, these are my people. All right. So some ways to cope with stress. Regular physical activity. We already talked about. Getting those endorphins running. Relaxation techniques such as taking a deep breath, meditation, yoga, getting a massage even, keeping a good sense of humor, socializing with your friends and family. Your actions become habits, and your habits can help define who you are, so getting yourself out of a bad mood by doing something fun every once in a while will help alleviate your stress as well as make you a happier person overall. Like I said, do something you like to do every single day of your life. And, so this is the University of California, San Diego. Psychiatrists there have checked up on 500 adults ages 60 to 98 who were living independently, had no major health issues, and they wanted to find out the secrets to living healthy and successful aging. So the participants were asked to rate their success of aging on a scale of 1 to 10, with the average score being very happy at 8.4. Most participants were coping with a tough Some participants were coping with tough health conditions such as cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and mental health problems. And Jestice, MD, the chief of the university's geriatric psychiatry division, noted that people who think they are aging well are not necessarily the healthiest of individuals, and in fact, optimism and affecting coping styles were found to be more important to successful aging than traditional measures of health and wellness. So, all those things combined are going to really help you live longer and live happier. So, I also have a Hoot Hoot game for us. And for those of you that arrived late, I apologize. You may not get some of the questions right.
That's okay.
So you'll need to get out a phone or laptop for the game.
Do you mind? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, which, the backpack, the black backpack. Can you see inside of that paper's like
Have you guys played Kahoot before?
I have.
Right. So basically, you'll just go to the website kahoot.it. And once you're there, it'll ask you for a game pin, which is up there to the right, the 858 number.
Okay, yours working?
It doesn't like it here.
Yeah, it says that it's slow, the connection.
We still wait one more?
It's checking my nickname.
There you are.
Oh, there we
All
go.
right.
Okay, cool.
Oh, all of them? No. You just pick one?
Yeah, you just pick one. Play multiple choice.
Yay.
Nice.
Go, Sherry.
Yeah, sure, you got it again.
Oh, it's based on how fast you do it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just that one, I don't know. I missed it. I
Yeah,
said false.
It was true.
Oh,
It was,
gosh.
yep, at least half your body's weight in ounces of water every single day, believe it or not.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Choked on that one? It's okay. The human body is what percent water?
Oh, I know it's 60, so I don't know what's closer. No idea.
What is 70%?
Was it?
70%.
I knew it was 60, I didn't know to go higher or lower.
Even rain is what percent water?
Is it 90?
It was 90, yeah.
Oh, cool. Got one.
You got it? Regularly drinking water can, don't overthink it.
Make you pee.
Nice. Man.
Screen time.
There you go.
I missed it.
It was not, yeah, that was in our, it was later.
Too horrible.
Y'all got that one.
Oh, I missed it?
No, we all got it, it was true, yeah.
Whoa, I don't know. No idea. What was it?
It was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna fail.
I know.
This isn't great, are you all right? You know what, I didn't cover that, I'm sorry. But it's, the answer is 32.
Well, okay, 36. $32 years.
Yep. If you live to be around 90, yeah.
What was it, 50%?
It was 50%, yeah.
I got this one. Did I miss it?
Nope.
Got it. Oh, I hit the wrong one.
Yeah,
It's
just because the
true.
colors are changing.
Yeah, that was tricky. It's true. I hit false.
I did that on one of them too.
Y'all should get this one.
That's cute.
Oh god. Oh, we mean. Not for that one. Oh. Yay, got me.
All right.
What?
EE, that's you?
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Well done, everybody.
playing, David?
I was.
That's not fair.
I know, so,
That skewed the
so I,
results.
yeah, so just consider last place. Alright, that's all I've got for you guys, so we'll do the post test and then I'll be done.
And what percent of the human body was water?
70%.
Jeez,
Yeah.
I picked 90.
I picked 50. I know it was 65.
Okay. Just one for you, they're gonna be exactly the same, but after the presentation, your
Yeah.
Okay.
minds will change.
Yeah.